Hey everybody, it's all college football all the time, and we are going to be going over the game that's probably the second best game of the week, and would be it would be game of the week if it wasn't for the Red River rivalry going on. Number 20 undefeated Texas against number 1 undefeated Georgia. Kentucky with that running game looks really, really strong, and Georgia looks a little bit vulnerable with how much running ability they allowed against Auburn. Although, to be fair to Georgia, it was mostly running, the quarterback running, and it was against a system that has 2 quarterbacks. That's very hard to pull off, and it's very hard to prepare for also. So I think there is something going into that too, and if someone can break the pocket and run, it usually leads to big chunk plays because the defense is separated usually on passing plays just by virtue of, receivers running routes and the blocking and everything. It opens up holes the longer the play goes on. But let's get into this. So, team comparison, obviously Kentucky, 170 yards rushing a game, and Georgia only has about 150. Whereas Kentucky, it's 225 passing, and Georgia has 330. Carson Beck, and the total yards, obviously, Georgia has way more. They're at almost 500. Whereas Kentucky's almost at 400. Georgia has a little bit more points for. Their offense has not looked extremely explosive. Almost sometimes their team, it's just feels like there's no second gear to Georgia. Whereas Kentucky, they have about 8 points less. At 185, points against 76 to 65. Obviously, Georgia has 420 more total yards, 430 actually. More total yards. Georgia has more net passing yards by 500, and then Kentucky has about 100 more rushing yards net. Georgia has way more first downs, almost 30. And then they have about even penalty yards, although Kentucky does have more. I would say they both have played about even opponents, so there's not much of a difference there. I would say Kentucky, it's not really arguable, probably has the best win this season between the two of them with how they handled Florida, but Florida isn't that good. None of these teams they faced are great or even good, unless I'm just misinformed. I just don't see a team. They both played Ball State, both crushed them. Yeah, there's just not a real good win in here. But let's look at the comparison, because the line is 15. I don't know if I agree with 15. I mean, obviously, Davis rushing for Kentucky, he's a monster. He had I want to say he had didn't he have almost 300 yards rushing? Maybe it was only 200 against Florida. And Leary, I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback, but he's a pretty good college quarterback. And Carson Beck, 1,502 yards, 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's really good. And they have their running back, Edwards, who gets a lot of the touchdowns. Bowers, he honestly should be a Heisman candidate. That's just the truth. And then Kentucky, their best receiver is Robinson. So what do I think? I think that Kentucky is going into Georgia, and I don't think they have a chance of winning. Well, I think they have a chance, just depends on how well Georgia can stop the run. If Georgia stops the run, no problem, they'll win. But if they cannot stop the run and hold them under 150 yards, then Georgia probably is going to lose this game. Because I don't know if they can win from behind. And they haven't shown like that killer instinct that you usually see out of like championship level teams. But they're just so talented, even though they're not as talented as the last two teams, that it might not bite them, and they might win a third straight this year. So, I think it's, can they stop the run, and if they commit to stopping the run and load 8 in the box, can Leary punish them for it? Because that's how Kentucky's going to win. Now, I don't think they can win. I don't think they can win in Georgia, but it's possible. I'd say they have a better chance than than Auburn did, and Auburn almost won. Like, Georgia looks kind of beatable. I don't think anybody would blame someone for picking Kentucky with how good they've looked. I would pick... I think the spread is ridiculous. I don't think it should be 15. I think it's going to be 38-31 Georgia. And they keep it close, like it's a nail biter until like the mid fourth quarter, and then they get a go-ahead touchdown or have a go-ahead touchdown and just continue to run the ball and ice the game. But it should be interesting, so I hope you like this preview and prediction, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like and subscribe. See ya.